Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Doctor Who Reviews. This week we are looking at the Tom Baker serial, The Creature from the Pit. And to talk about it with me, I have my two usual co-hosts. Firstly, to my virtual left, Mirror Guru, is it you? Mirror Guru, is it true? It's FreezingInferno.
Yes!
And to my virtual right, she didn't even enter Eurovision, and she's still got more points in the UK. It's Kat.
Damn right I did.
No
Also,
bois.
Chris, how the hell do you manage to keep doing this?
Yeah, I know.
This is the most gonzo thing I've ever seen.
It's pretty out there.
Me pick a gonzo serial of classic Doctor Who? Quelle surprise!
I do.
And it also is anti-capitalism.
Yeah, true.
How shocking.
You don't say!
Quite a few Tom Baker stories were, in various different ways.
I think I even saw one or two mirrors in the story.
Oh, trust me, we saw a lot of mirrors.
Yeah, one's actually got a major implication on the plot.
Yep.
How do you keep
Hell, there
doing
was an
this?
entire scene that was filmed with part of it in a mirror.
How do you keep? How does your sixth sense keep finding these?
I mean, it's not a sixth sense. It's I've literally seen every classic Who story, so
Also-
I know what these shit is about.
Also, I made a joke about it at the start, but I do feel sorry for the guy who got nil point for us.
God.
He owned it, bless him. He absolutely owned it. When it was announced he got 0 points, he stood up with a drink
Oh.
and the entire hall cheered him.
Has the UK ever gotten close to even winning
5 times.
Eurovision? 5 times, okay.
But the last time was 1997.
Wow.
And guess what?
Which is kind of sad because I really like that one song, Still in Love with You. I think that's what it was
Yeah,
called.
that Electro Velvet, 24th.
Yes.
It's a combination
Yes.
of politics, the fact that people just don't like us particularly now. If they ever
And
did
the
to
fact
begin
that
with.
Eurovision and the EU has some reasons to be mad at the UK for some reason.
There's a lot of political voting as well. Like Greece always votes 12 points for Cyprus and vice versa. There was a great moment in the hall actually where it came time for Cyprus to give their votes and it said, and 12 points go to, and the entire hall shouted out, Greece! And they were right.
So let's talk about a green penis monster.
Yeah.
That's a
Let's do
segue.
that.
Is
So this is the third story of season 17, the second to last Tom Baker season. It's got Tom Baker, Lala Ward as Romana the
Love
second,
Romana.
and
And a
K9.
lie. I was lied to. Not necessarily by you, Frez, but by the actual frickin' serial. That's
Yeah.
not K9.
no.
Yes, it
That's
is.
an imposter.
K9 was ejected.
That's
We're
that's
never gonna stop making those jokes.
that's K9's non-union Mexican equivalent.
Yeah, so, I don't know the behind the scenes drama for this, but John Leeson didn't come back for the voice in season 17, so taking up the mantle is an actor named David Brierley, and
I don't care. He's a lie.
I literally don't know him about anything other than this. So
That's
Neither
not
do I.
K9. Seriously, every single time K9 spoke, I was thrown off because it was not what I was expecting.
yeah,
Well-
for me it's a bit like Crichton from Red Dwarf, where he was first played by one actor for his first appearance, and then he was played by a completely different actor. But it's a bit different because the other actor is famous for being Crichton now, whereas this actor, not so much for K9.
yeah.
It's kind of like the special edition version of
Doris?
yes, but I forget the name of the actual one.
This was literally his biggest role.
Episode 6, where they put in the young Anakin rather than the previous
yeah,
Anakin.
yeah.
It's kind of like that.
That's my
I
phone.
get where
Um,
you're coming.
yeah,
Is that Strikes Back or is Strikes Back the second one?
Strikes Back is the second one. Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
David
Return of the
Brierley.
Jedi.
Literally, this was his biggest role ever in his career.
You
And
get the
failed.
voice of robot though. Please.
Wow, Cat. Wow.
Just imagine.
There was only
Imagine
one
if we showed-
K9.
Imagine if we showed you a David Brierley first, and then you went, idiot. That's not K9.
And the weird thing is that John Leeson does come back, as you say.
Yeah, so this is just a weird aberration.
Yeah.
And if we ever do any other season 17 stories, you'll probably hear K9. But well, I think we have to do the Horns of Naimon at some point.
I've got that on the. I've got that on the list.
Classic. Not because it's a classic, but because it's kind of like this. You're gonna absolutely lose your goddamn mind.
I have Horns of Naimon on the docket to do at some point this year because one character in particular just goes off.
Oh God. He doesn't go full ham. He goes full pig.
I'm not going to say it.
I thought of it as soon as that.
I'm fighting the urge to say it,
but nobody said it, and I'm really glad that we all fought the urge to David Cameron fucking pig. God damn it!
You started it, not us.
Yeah. So, Creature from the Pit.
Mm-hmm.
We open on the jungle, and a man being thrown down the pit.
Yeah, in this light-hearted, funny romp, we have an arcane sacrifice. Wait, what?
Dissonance. We're in the jungle, and there's these guards and a lady, and this guy is like, "No, please don't throw me down the pit," and he gets rocked down this fucking pit.
You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die. And he does. So, he falls down this pit.
Yeah. There's like green light and shit, and ooh, what's down there? There might be some sort of creature in this pit, in a story entitled "Creature from the Pit." We cut from that to K9 reading Peter Rabbit in a voice that is not John Leeson that caused Kat some consternation.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of cute.
It is cute, but this is no different really from that time that Batman 66 recast the Riddler.
Oh my god!
For two episodes, and then they put Frank Gorshin right back in the role.
Well, there you go.
So it happens. It happens on TV shows.
But is this as goofy as Batman 66? Or goofier? Gonzo-ier?
I don't know, actually.
Well, to get the plot going, Romana's going through some old junk in the TARDIS, including a gift of string from Ariadne and Theseus with the Minotaur business, which is funny when you think of the Time Monster.
It's even funnier when there's a story that comes on a couple of after this.
Oh yeah!
Foreshadowing? Question mark?
Ooh-hoo.
Probably not.
We'll have a goddamn time doing that one for sure.
It probably wasn't foreshadowing, or was intentional foreshadowing.
I don't either. What gets the plot going is Romana's going through all the stuff, and she finds, it's a Mark III distress beacon thing. It just answers distress calls. Oh, let's slap it on the TARDIS. Beep beep beep. Whoa! And that gets us into the adventure. We land on the jungle planet, which is we find out later is called Chloris. And we hop on out, and hey, holy shit! There's this big thing out in the jungle. Let's check it out. Wait, this isn't just a thing. It's an eggshell!
It's a moon.
Yeah, the Doctor and I found a big moon outside the TARDIS.
That's no moon. It's a space station, or not, but it is made of metal, which is not what eggs are usually made out of.
It's also pretty damn big for an egg.
Very, very big. Massive.
I don't see the bird that laid it.
Who says the bird laid it? But there's also the fact that the Doctor, in investigating it, finds that it's giving off a little faint signal, like it's alive or something, which is wild. And then we get a pretty amusing scene where, like, the Doctor is being stalked by tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
There's literally just these round plant things that are moving and rustling towards him, and every time he looks back, he'll be like, what was that? They just freeze? And he's just like, probably nothing.
This is just like one part of the extreme humor in this episode. This is so funny because it's like, dude, You know they're moving. Get out of there.
Tom Baker playing Grandmother's Footsteps with tumbleweeds.
Well,
I'm sorry, what? Playing what?
Grandmother's Footsteps.
This is some British thing that we don't know about, Cat.
You've never heard of that game?
For those who are confused, we call it red light, green light here in America.
Ah.
Oh.
I've heard of that name for it too, but...
Honestly, that just made me think of the end to the first Mission Impossible movie. Red light! Green light!
And then John Voight blows up, spoilers.
We're not even 5 minutes into the story and I've broken Cat. It's a new record.
No John Voights were hard for making this podcast.
No, I'm not broken. I'm not broken. I'm fine.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the creature in the pit yet. Then you'll be broken.
No John Voights were harmed in the making of this podcast.
A bunch of people died, though.
Yes.
Like a lot.
What?
In this serial, quite a lot of people do die. Yes.
Oh. Okay, in the serial, yes.
So anyway, the red light, green light, or whatever you want to call it, ends when the Doctor is accosted by soldiers who we saw earlier at the Arcane Sacrifice by the pit.
Well, actually, first he's accosted by the weeds. They just hop on him and they start, like, chewing on him or doing something. Perfect apex predators, these things. It's like, Romana, help!
Yeah, so the Langoliers were tired of eating time, so they decided to eat a Time Lord instead.
They're round.
I'm not apologizing.
I should have known one of you would link this to the Langoliers.
Fuck, it all comes back to the
Could have gone with anything. Could have gone with Tribbles. Could have gone with those things from Digimon. No, the Langoliers.
Oh, I originally did call them Tribbles, but then it's like, hey, you know what these are, Frez? They're mouthless Langoliers.
Oh, God.
I have made a vow this week. I will not get angry. You are. I see you're going to try and do your best to make me break that vow.
So the Doctor's accosted by these perfect apex predators until a guy with a sword comes, and then a guy with a whip comes. He cracks the whip, and these little things get off him. The Doctor's all like, "Oh, thank you for saving me." And the guy with the whip is just like, looks with the guy with the sword, and he's just like, "Kill him!" Oh no! But this is bad. But he's saved, quote unquote, when another old lady who we saw earlier in the sacrifice scene comes on in and informs him that this is the place of death. So called because anyone found here is condemned to death. And the Doctor and Romana are captured by them, and the Doctor's put in stocks, and they march off into the jungle.
Romana is mistaken for his commander.
It's cute.
I honestly was kind of expecting, just from the intro and everything, that this was going to be like a women versus men type of situation. But then obviously the dude comes in and he's commanding, the weird, what are they called, wolfweeds?
The wolfweeds, yeah.
Wolfweeds, yes.
He's commanding them. There are, male guards around. So it kind of fell off around there.
Yeah. We get the classic of classic Doctor Who scenarios. The party splitting as the group of guards and all are suddenly attacked by bandits who kill some of their guys and also take off while abducting Romana. And, the Doctor's like, "Where's Romana?" "Oh, the bandits took her. Pray that they kill her quickly."
Yeah.
Ooh, really building up these bandits as a threat. And then we cut to the bandits, and this is where we get a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, it is.
So these guys, the idea, I think, on paper, is that they're former miners, because as we find out later in the story, the only mine on the planet closed. There's a lack of metal on the planet, so metal is a valuable commodity, and these bandits want to hoard all the metal they can. They're like, "Ooh, I've got iron and zinc, I'm fucking rich!"
Right.
Right. Now, Unfortunately, now a few sources I've looked up have pointed this out, so I'm not just pulling shit out of my hat here. Uh, the way they're portrayed in the story is kind of, how do I put it, problematic.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got
Go
the
on.
so you've got these bunch of guys, and they're really just hoarding all the wealth and all this bullshit, and it's an issue. I'll say that much. It's an issue, all right, and it led me to an interesting bit of thought. Like I was thinking of the story, like putting that issue aside for the moment. I really enjoyed the story.
Mhm.
It's got, like we said at the top, a lot of bullshit that I go for. It's got equal parts gonzo imagery and shall we say, leftist themes that resonate with me. But it also has this problematic bullshit, and from what I've read, it was all like casting and directing that made it that way. Like on the page, it's not really supposed to be quite this problematic of a stereotype.
What
But
Okay.
stereotype is that? Because I'm honestly not sure.
well, according to them, it's anti-Semitic.
What?
Yeah. I'm not sure I get that vibe myself, but
Well, I'm bringing it up just because multiple sources I know said it, so I would
I
feel weird not bringing
they're entitled to that opinion, of course. I didn't see it myself.
it.
I didn't either, but then again, I've never been subject to that sort of hatred, so
Nor
I
have
may not
I.
be the best call for that.
That's not where
Uh,
I saw that going when you said you had a problem with the bandits, but
No, I thought it was going to be a thing about them all looking like cavemen and all being male or something.
well, that doesn't help, I suppose, with the stereotyping and the money, money, money sort of aspect that they've got going for it, which I feel like the story is going for a microcosm and macrocosm sort of thing, where we find that the main villain of the piece, is also very money hoarding and capitalistic.
yeah.
So it's going for the thing where these people, they're opposed to each other, but they still have the same problem. They've got terminal capitalist rot brain going on. But yeah, I don't know. The bandits don't work, and it led me down this whole rabbit hole of thinking because we've covered problematic stories on the show before, and I've torn into them. They are stories that are problematic, and also I do not like for various reasons pertaining to their quality or to, uh, how shall I say, a fan backlash of their criticism. And if you would like to look at those episodes, you can look in our backlog. I won't name them because I can't name one and I don't need to name the other. But this leads me to the issue of this story has that problematic element, as people have said, but also I like the rest of it.
Yeah.
See,
So,
I have a problem though where I'm not seeing what these other people are seeing. What do they name as? Obviously, just as a disclaimer, these are not stereotypes that we believe in. I just
oh,
want clarification. What stereotypes do they put in that's supposed to be anti-Semitic?
I'm not sure, honestly. I think it's the fact that they're constantly going after wealth and
Oh,
riches.
is it the fact that
But
one
that's
was?
just
Hang on a
capitalism.
minute. I know what it might be.
Go
The
ahead.
What
leader of the bandits does sound a bit like Fagin from Oliver Twist.
Ah,
does he?
I got that vibe off his voice. Yes.
uh-huh.
Well, first off, you have to have actually seen that specific Oliver Twist to know exactly what he's supposed to sound like. And two, that's still really weak.
Well, I think Fagin is a Jew in the book.
Ah.
But
Hmm.
yes, I didn't see it myself. I didn't think, oh, this is a Jew stereotype. I thought, oh, he sounds a bit like Fagin for some reason. Was that intentional or just an odd affectation?
It's like I know of specific Jewish stereotypes. I know about the idea of greed and I know about the idea of, for some reason, their noses. I
Yeah.
don't get that one. But I'm not seeing that here. What I'm seeing is there are two different factions. We have essentially what could be called a class war here, where you have the poorer people who want to hoard the wealth, as well as the richer people who can hoard the wealth.
That's definitely what I see mostly in the story and
That
what
was
I
more
like
what I
about
got
it.
from it. Not so much Semites versus
But
non-Semites,
yeah,
but
I would
Yeah.
feel like ethically compromised if I didn't take considering what we've said about problematic stories in the
no, you're
past.
absolutely right to bring it up. I didn't know. I didn't spot it.
And like
Yeah.
it did lead me to a whole sort of introspection about how, the fans of those other stories that we've criticized are very traditional Doctor Who fans, and those stories give them what scratch their itch, so to speak, be it traditional monsters or a traditional sort of horror science fiction setting. And in the same way, this story gives me scratches my itches.
Yeah.
Gonzo bullshit and anti-capitalist shit. So, but I would like to say that I'm self-critical enough to acknowledge the flaws in the story that the people say and say, yeah, that criticism's valid, and call it
Yeah.
a problematic fave, if you will. Like,
Yeah, what I'm going to say is that I don't see specifically what they may be seeing, and if they do have that interpretation, then that's maybe they see something that I don't, or maybe they see something that they're used to, or maybe they're just blowing smoke out their ass. I honestly can't say. What I can say, however, is that the way that I perceived it, and possibly YouTube perceived it, is that their greed for the metal wealth does fit in with the entire theme of the episode. Whereas in something like that one story that we can't say the name of, the racism from that takes away from the story. It's like they could have gotten someone who was Asian to play that person, but they didn't.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So there's a difference between this is part of the story and it's an important part of the story, so it's hard to for at least hard for us to see that as specifically a stereotype. Meanwhile, you have someone who is quite literally in yellow face.
yeah. So I don't know. I would say this story is not as bad as those others, but also I'm a white guy. It's not really my place to judge, per se. I feel
Yeah.
so. But I feel I have to take I have to be the bigger man of sorts and have the maturity that the certain fans of those other stories I feel lack, and own up to the fact, yeah, there's some bullshit that you can read into this one, and it's not
Yeah.
great, and if that lowers the story for you, well, completely understand, and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's not a great look that you can read
Yeah,
that from it.
especially since anti-Semitism is one of those big ones that isn't really dealt with or talked about.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
And it's so common to find it in specific countries where they just do it and it's seen as fine. It's almost like a permissive form of racism towards people.
It is rife in this country, and there are still people that think it's acceptable to be racist against the Jewish people
I mean,
for
not to get
reasons.
too real, but that's a topic of discussion at the moment,
That's what I'm saying. This
considering
this is
the
Yeah.
why I
world.
honestly didn't spot that. That's why I'm a bit uncomfortable saying that I've not
I
spotted
live in a
this.
country where there are fucking Nazis, so.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't want to get
So
too political. I'm not shutting down the conversation by at all. Right?
oh, don't worry, we're
It's an
gonna get
important
plenty
conversation.
political with the themes of the story. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I'm
It
saving
is
the book.
important to talk about this because that's something that like I said, we didn't see. But if
Absolutely.
someone does see that, then that's absolutely valid, and it's worth making sure that we mention that.
Yeah.
I
So
would have to speak to friends of mine who are Jewish and see if they watch this, would they find it offensive?
yeah.
Yeah.
Since I didn't see that when I watched it, I hadn't the chance to do that. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
in the end,
Romana has been
success.
captured by
So
these bandits, but she makes quick work of them. Really,
Oh
so
yeah, she's like super awesome in this. I was like, go Romana the entire time.
and also, the bandit leader, the joke with the bandit leader, whose name I'm
Torvin,
Trix
Torvin.
Torvin. The joke with him is he's just like, oh, look at all this metal, look at all this metal. I'm rich, rich. I mean,
sir,
we're
you
rich.
mean
We're rich.
We are rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He keeps going. Yeah, that's the joke with him. That's what they keep going with. I'm rich. I'm rich.
The
I
four
mean,
of them are
we're
called
rich.
Torvin,
We're
Edu,
rich.
Ainu, and Toland. Or Toland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I will
not
say,
Toland. Not Toland. Toland's another character. Sorry.
I will say, if you guys remember when we did Warrior's Gate, I said that I wasn't a huge fan of Romana at the time. I'm totally on board with her, especially Lala Ward's.
Hell yeah.
Romana's great. She really is one of my favourite classic companions.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of funny because apparently she hated this one.
I was going to say that, yeah. This was the first one she filmed as Romana.
Yeah, apparently she was very nervous about it.
It wasn't her
and
debut.
Also, it was written for the previous Romana.
Yeah, that's why she's still wearing white.
Which is funny because she said that she hated her outfit and her hair, and I thought that both were beautiful.
She looked great in this, yeah. But
yeah.
I guess she wanted to break away from being
her
like
outwitting the bandits is actually pretty clever because they're voting on whether or not to. At first, Torvin just wants to kill her, but then it's just like no. See, we got to vote democratically.
This is the other thing this is what I thought you were going to complain about, the whole framing of democracy as somehow bad here.
Well, I mean.
Well, I mean, it wasn't framed as something bad. It was framed as good because there was the potential to.
I mean, there are people out there that would think that democracy is a bad thing, but
what was bad was what were they intending to do with her if they did keep her alive?
Yes.
Let's not go there, but we don't have to go there because Romana has a plan.
Yeah, and her plan is to basically exploit the fact they're idiots.
So she tricks them into saying, and she tricks them basically saying they think that she's one of Lady Adrasta's ladies in waiting or something like that. So she bluffs handmaidens. So she bluffs and she says, if you kill me, they'll come looking for you, and then you'll be in a whole heap of trouble.
But she doesn't even say that she is a lady in waiting. That's the brilliant thing about this. She doesn't admit to being a lady in waiting. Yeah. She actually kind of denies it, but they're so thick they don't see this. So her face is ultimately put to a vote. And yeah, this is interesting. So one of the I said cavemen, sorry, one of the bandits. We'll call them bandits. That's less problematic, I think.
Yeah, they're bandits.
One of the bandits, who is Ainu, I think. As I said, there's three of them: Torvin, Edu, and Ainu. Ainu wants to keep her alive. Torvin wants to kill her. So it's put to a vote. And Torvin actually wins the vote, but they don't kill her. And then Romana just pulls this great trick where, as you say, the bandits are attracted to metal. Metal is the great commodity on this planet.
Yep.
So she pulls out a piece of metal. And she gives it to the bandits, and they sort of say, "What is it?" Said, "What do you do with it? You blow it." And after some comedy, some comedy where they can't blow it to save their lives.
Blow on it first. They're like, "What the fuck?" It's
a whistle, and at this point, people who've seen the classic series know what's going on here because they know that K9 has a whistle.
It's like I didn't even know K9 had a whistle, but it looks like a dog whistle in general. So I was like, she's gonna call K9.
Yep,
that's exactly what she does.
I do like the little cut to K9 where the main leader blows it twice. So K9 perks up and says, "Coming, mistress," and then he goes, "All right, I'm coming."
That's me trying to answer the door when I'm upstairs.
Cute little thing.
Knock, knock. I'm coming. Knock again. I'm coming.
While K9 is on his way, cut to the doctor at the palace of the Lady Adrasta, and he's got his own clever ploy to escape.
Oh, I like this.
He's just keep in mind that his arm, his two hands, and his neck are chained up.
This is classic Tom Baker and also goofy 70s comedy rolled into one.
So he's just goes up to a guard. "Oh, can you scratch my nose? Oh, come on." No, with your finger.
Yeah, the guards, at one point, the guard scratches his own nose.
He scratches his own nose, and he's just like, "No, mine. Oh, thank you. Oh, that feels good." And then he headbutts him.
He sneezes. He forces his shoulders forward, and the stocks knock him out.
And he's about to unlock the door and escape when who should come in but the lady herself, the Lady Adrasta.
The villain of the piece, Boo Hiss.
Ooh, Boo Hiss is
So-
goddamn right.
Interestingly, this character, her name was originally supposed to be Ad Astra, which is it means from the stars.
Yep.
That is interesting.
And do you know who changed her name?
Douglas Adams,
Ah,
who wrote the serial before this, City of Death.
well, so well, he was script editor.
All right, he worked on City of Death.
He worked on City of Death, as we said, by chugging coffee at 1 o'clock in the morning, going, and then Duggan punches the guy in the face. Give me another shot.
He wrote that beautiful dialogue.
He wrote Paris, A Journey.
Very good, very good.
1979, more of a table line, shall we say?
But Adrasta is certainly something else in this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she's interesting.
definitely. Very
I won't say she's
interesting.
good, but
She's kind of a
she's
one-dimensional
interesting.
villain until the final episode.
Well,
At which point it's too late. But she is the ruler of this planet, which we haven't mentioned, but this is Chloris.
I mentioned it. I
Did
believe.
you?
Yeah, he
at the top.
mentioned it.
Okay, sorry.
That's what you get for not paying attention.
I pay attention, I swear.
So she brings the doctor in, takes the stocks off, and she wants to ask him about that eggshell that was in the place of death. What did you make of it? You know? And the doctor also sort of zeroes in on this weird thing that Adrasta has on her wall. It's a weird looking wall ornament sort of thing. What would you call that if you were writing home, Rainiac?
A sand dollar.
Sand dollar.
It looks like one.
I called it a mysterious... In my notes, I've just got it down as the mysterious object, but I think it's a plate.
It's very strange.
Like
and
a plate on a
ornate, and
wall,
the doctor
but,
does the doctor does sort of zero in on it and wonder what's going on. But he also tells Adrasta his theory. The egg, it's alive. It's transmitting a signal. It's made of metal. I don't know what hatched it. Then she calls in two of her guys, engineers, Doran and
Tolland. Now, have you seen the film The Prince of Egypt?
Yes.
no.
These guys gave me vibes of the two magicians in that film.
Yes. Yes, they did. Holy crap.
Mm.
Well,
So-
the doctor's playing with the big boys now.
Yeah. Awesome Tom Baker dialogue alert. This man is being facetious. He's quite right.
Honestly, Tom Baker's just hilarious in this. I love it.
He's just
so
so
good.
charming as the Doctor, isn't he?
Less good is the fact that Adrasta is pissed because Doran did a paper, like a goddamn scientific paper, about how the egg is actually some sort of fragment of an ancient temple. And here comes the doctor, and it's like, I've got a completely different theory after my little bit of research. So, you fucked up. Into the pit with you bastard.
You have failed me.
So, now this starts an interesting trend with Adrasta. The way she views people as a resource. A human resource, if you will.
Yeah.
The fact that she's like, as long as you're of use to me, you can remain alive and keep providing me value. So, in the case of the Doctor, and later Romana, as we'll find, she wants information. And then operating K9 or the TARDIS or doing some other bullshit. And the minute anyone fails to be of value to her, she's like, okay, kill them.
Yeah.
Yep. Lady Adrasta is Jeff Bezos.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, we're gonna get into the capitalist hell world nature of Chloris in a bit. But yeah?
And that includes all the murder because you know he's rich enough to make that shit go away.
You're goddamn right.
Oh boy.
Billionaires was a mistake.
So moving on.
So,
I remember once I saw an idea someone had where people were like, as soon as you get to a certain level of wealth, you should reset and have all the wealth taken away, and then you have to build back up again. I was like, yeah, let's do that.
It's
Or
like that one. I don't know. I think it's an itch.io game. Spend Jeff Bezos' money. And it's like, end world hunger. Okay, you still have $800 billion left.
I did recently play a game on itch.io where the final boss is Jeff Bezos. Stick it to
He has enough money that he could go to some place like Detroit, buy up all the broken down houses that nobody's using,
Stick it
fix
to the
them
stick,
up,
man, it's
and
called.
put
It's
people
rather fun.
inside of them without barely making a dent.
Yeah.
A cat, that wouldn't make him more money.
No. The game in question, by the way, is called Stick It to the Stick, man.
I'm Googling this. Spend Bill Gates' money. Spend Jeff Bezos' money.
Well, I mean, Bill Gates is getting divorced, so someone's going to be spending his money.
He's going to need that alimony payment, isn't he?
Yep.
There's a shitload of spend Jeff Bezos' money games. I don't remember the specific one.
You're actually Googling it while we do this, okay.
I mean, it's our way. It's our way. We're off the cuff. So let's talk about a robot dog shooting some bandits, huh?
Yeah, also, awesome Tom Baker dialogue alert number 2. As he's being led away from the palace. How nice to meet a well-mannered guard. Because the guard actually, pays him respect. And he's like, after you.
So, K9 comes on in to save Romana, and the bandits see a big metal moving dog and just go, holy shit! That's worth a fucking fortune!
And then the big metal dog shoots at them, and they're like, never mind!
He stuns Torvin.
Yeah. And Romana's just like, okay.
Torvin.
No.
Stuns.
He stuns Torvin.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just emphasizing that he only stuns the man.
Yeah, because they say you've killed him. No, he'll wake up in a couple of minutes.
Oh no, he kills somebody much later.
Not much later. In about
Not much
3
later.
minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah. So Romana takes off with K9 from the bandit camp, and meanwhile, Adrasta and friends have arrived at the pit to throw Doran down into it. And there's a lovely line from the actress where the doctor's just like, what is this? And she's just like, we call it the pit.
There needs to be a thunderclap there.
Yeah. Okay, Frau Blucher.
I love how snarky he gets too, because he's like, wow, you guys are really good at naming, huh?
It's great. So they huck Doran down the pit. There's a green light, and Doran's like, ah!
The doctor tries to save him. He tries to reason with Adrasta not to kill him, but it fails.
And then we get to the episode 1 cliffhanger, which is so good I had to make a shitpost about. Romana arrives with K9, and Adrasta's like, seize them! A guard runs up, K9 shoots the guard. It's just, oh, well, he's only stunned. He stumbles back and falls straight down into the pit. Ah!
K9 kills a guy.
K9 killed a man.
K9 killed a man. And there was a shitpost I made. We can probably link it in the thing, but it's just a quick dumb thing I made in like 15 minutes where I took audio from the end of the Naked Gun movie.
Yeah.
Where, spoilers.
I will link to that. I will link to
Leslie
that.
Nielsen shoots a shoots a stun dart at the bad guy, and it's like, you've killed him! No, I just stunned him. He'll be alright in a few minutes. And the bad guy stumbles back and falls off a building. Ah!
And then he gets like run over by a bus and then a steam. You gotta watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. Just watch that film. I just recommend that film. Hard recommend.
It's funny.
But
don't watch the third one. Don't watch the third one.
K9 just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled his trigger. Now he's dead.
Mama, ooh.
No.
I'm going to send you a fork. If you could please stab yourself for me. That'd be great.
Well, continuing with the cliffhanger.
I'm guessing not me. I'm guessing him for saying ooh woo.
Yeah. So, the wolf weeds get set on K9. K9 blows one up. Romana's like, good job, K9. And then they swarm K9. It's like, oh no.
Oh, and Myra France just gets a cold, like, he's dead. What?
And the doctor is just like, he's considering the fact that, well, and she's like, well, doctor, now I have both of you. And the doctor's just pats Romana and then yeets himself right down the pit.
Yeah, it's like he tries grabbing the rope to slow his fall, but of course it's not attached.
No.
He just plummets, and it's freaking amazing. It's like, you want a cliffhanger? Fine. Here's the doctor literally jumping down a pit.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. 2. That's not your home, it's a pit.
And it turns out that the doctor actually grabbed onto a ledge down in the middle of the pit there, and he's hanging on for dear life. Nobody's can really see him. I guess he's concealed or something from view.
Yeah, it's like Romana actually looks down into it. I think the others just sort of glance at it. And
Romana sees him, yeah, and he's signaling saying, no, don't tell her I'm here. Shh. Yeah. So she acts like he's dead.
Adrax is just like, oh, well, what an idiot. Oh, well, we have Romana. Let's take her back to the palace and interrogate her about what the doctor was up to and his hidden knowledge.
We do get a wonderful sight gag in the pit.
Can I talk about it? Because I legitimately had to pause this part and laugh my ass off for like 6 minutes.
It's great.
It's so good. Go ahead, Kat, please.
So the doctor is like, obviously he's trying to make sure that he's safe in the pit. So he says something about climbing Mount Everest, and he pulls out a book. And, obviously it's a book about mountain climbing. So he opens it up and says, it's in Tibetan. So he tucks the book into his other hand, reaches back into his coat, and just pulls out a book that says how to speak Tibetan.
Teach yourself Tibetan.
It's so good.
It is a really good joke.
And later on, when it cuts back to him, he's like hammering in, I don't know what they're called, but it's one of those loops that you put into rock so that you can attach a rope to it. And he's got the books like tacked up on the wall next to him.
Yeah.
And he's reading through them.
So good.
It is a great visual gag.
So,
I love it so much.
So K9 has been webbed up by the weeds, the wolf weeds, and Adrasta and Co are going to go back to the palace. But before she leaves, she looks down the pit, and she's like, probably thinking to herself, what a dumbass. And she kicks a bunch of dirt down into the pit, which hits the doctor in the face, causes him to lose his balance, and he falls down into the goddamn pit anyway.
Yeah, now she didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
This is kind of reminiscent of a funeral when you throw some dirt on the coffin.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of weird because what he did was he used his scarf as a sort of rope, which is weird because it's like he grabbed ropes. I don't know why he did that. But I was kind of worried that he would accidentally like hang himself or something. Because, dang, dude. But no, thankfully it gave away and he was fine.
No. He just slumps down into the pit. So
thought we were going to have a Clayton moment.
Jesus.
He wasn't going to hang himself because what he just does is he just loops the scarf around a holding on the inside of the pit or the well.
Oh no, it's tied on. It's just it gets yanked out.
Yeah, and then when she kicks the dirt, he loses his grip and it all falls to the bottom. But
so leaving him in the pit for a while, let's talk more about Adrasta because there's a whole bunch of shit that happens here. Starting with another great line where Romana's asking her about what's down in that pit that makes the noise that causes people to scream, and Adrasta just says, "We call it the creature."
And Romana comes back with a, "Wow, you guys are so good at naming things on this planet."
And Adrasta gets the wonderful line: "There are two types of people: those who have seen the creature and those who are still alive."
Yeah.
And then she's back in her palace, fucking around saying, "Oh, well, now that the doctor's dead, well, I can get all the information I need out of you." And, while she's doing this, she's looking around she's looking in a mirror. So that's a Doctor Who mirror alert. Whoop, 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 whoop,
there is literally a shot where it focuses on Romana. However, the mirror is in frame, and you could see Adrasta's face in the mirror.
Yeah.
You sure can.
Because Adrasta's holding the mirror up, so...
We should also mention that at this point, I forget exactly why she does this. I think Romana's talking back to her. But Adrasta just fucking backhands her.
Yes.
Like hard, too.
Romana sasses Adrasta, and Adrasta just like backhands her.
She throws
It is
a previous
brutal.
dialogue back at
It
her,
looks
and
really real.
she replaces it with a backhand. I've just got my notes. She'll probably pay for that later. And oh boy, did she ever!
Oh yeah.
It's just like, don't you sass me. Tell me what I want to know.
Yeah, and at this, I think it's at this point or close to this point where Adrasta's like, all right, take K9 and tear him apart, and they start hammering on him, and it's like, no,
Because metal is incredibly valuable on this planet, and here's this dog made entirely of metal. It's like gold to them. Now here's a funny thing.
well, I mean,
should
gold
mention-
is a metal, so
I know. Here's a funny thing that I thought while watching, and then I had a bit of a eureka moment. I thought it was kind of weird how the fact that, metal's so valuable on this planet, yeah, all they do is kind of like hoard it. Like, there doesn't seem to be any practical economy out of hoarding, like, a candelabra made of iron or bronze or whatever. And then
literally flaunting her wealth.
And then I thought, hey, wait a minute. Don't we as a society impart value on little pieces of paper?
Yeah.
So, is it not so plausible that they could impart the same arbitrary value on random pieces of metal? I say, does it not?
It's
mirror
not
our
even
own
that,
society?
because at the very least with metal, you can melt it down and make it into ingots. What she is literally doing by having it be decoration around the palace, or maybe not a palace, but her home, is she is quite literally flaunting her wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
She's saying,
Yeah.
I have so much metal that I can make it into this little statue of a bird, and you can't do anything about it.
It's actually quite
And
an effective
also-
way of establishing her as a villain, if you think about it.
Yeah. And also, we should mention, this does come up in the story, but Chloris is a big, vast jungle planet with lots of swamps. But nobody has the tools to, like, clear the land for any expansion purposes or farming or anything, because they don't have the metal, because Adrasta has the monopoly on the metal, and she's hoarding it for all this decorative bullshit to be the
Yep.
richest queen alive on the planet.
See, this is part of what confused me a little bit about this, and I don't know if it's like something really big about this episode or just a little nitpick that I have. Because they specifically mentioned that they have trouble with cultivating the land.
Mhm.
My question is, later on, people are amazed at the fact that something could come from beyond the stars.
Yeah.
And they are not very technologically advanced, obviously, because they don't have any metal. But how do they know about these certain ideas if they don't have the resources to be able to do it?
I honestly don't know. Maybe they have visitors from space beforehand that told them about it.
Maybe.
Who knows?
But it's
Who
like they're
knows?
talking about we can't cultivate the land without the metal. It's like, how do you know that, though? How did you come to this conclusion that you absolutely need metal to do this when you have metal as a limited resource? And this bitch is using it for, like, a decorative chicken.
Let's talk about a big green penis monster.
Let's talk about the big green penis monster.
Because this is at the point where the doctor sees a green wiggly thing with a very inappropriate looking appendage coming at
It's
him.
a penis.
I shouldn't have said the word coming at him.
No, you shouldn't.
The fun fact is they tried to add arms to make this look less phallic. It's still really phallic.
And they also had a problem with
phallic.
the puppet they had to play the creature failed.
Oh god.
So they were left with what you see on the screen. A big green abomination.
Maybe if it had more protrusions, like actual tentacles or something, it wouldn't be so bad. Instead, it would just excite all the hentai lovers. But this is a penis. This is a
That's
big
a
blob with a
penis.
penis on it.
It's basically a
But
ball. It's parabolics,
And
yes.
Before the penis can get the doctor, there's another living person down this pit who rescues him.
Yeah.
Organon.
And
This
we
guy's
mentioned
nice.
this actor. We mentioned the actor that plays him last week.
Did
Did
we?
we?
Yeah, well, I did. Jeffrey Belden, who was under consideration to play the part of Asriel.
Oh my! How about that? We did it again.
How do we keep doing this?
I don't know, but I like it. I really like his portrayal here. He introduced himself as astronomer extraordinaire. I like him already.
So basically, his deal was he's an astrologer, and he gave Adrasta a prediction about visitors from beyond the star, and she got pissed off and threw him down the pit. But he managed to actually survive down here by getting the table scraps that the guards throw down to try and feed the creature, and just generally avoiding it and not getting crushed to death by the big green monster.
Yeah, he's the first to actually survive being placed into the pit.
Yeah.
And he gave a prediction that he wouldn't elaborate on it, so she threw him in there. Reasonable enough.
Yeah, he's kind of weird, where it's a mix of both like cold reading, where he's quite obviously faking it, and almost a sort of possible truth to it as well, because many of the predictions he makes are actually true.
I kind of feel
But also he's a hack.
Kind of feel this
So
might be a
it's that
commentary
weird
on
balance.
on like psychics and other mediums.
Yeah, that's
and
why
things.
I said cold reading.
Yeah,
where
cold
they,
reading
they
is a
manage
thing.
to infer these things.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Mm.
But later on, you do see him. He peeks over someone's shoulder in order to figure out something. So he's a careful balance, and it's interesting.
I do like him though.
Yeah, he's
So,
a fun character.
So meanwhile, the bandits have a clever plan.
Well, clever. Is it really that clever?
Well, it works.
It's a plan, technically.
It works for them. So
Not the way they think it works, but it works.
So they think, oh, all of Lady Adrasta's guards will be out looking for that lady who just escaped. That means her palace will be unguarded. That means
what they
we can break
specifically
in.
say is that Romana most likely went back to Lady Adrasta. They're going to be on their way here in order to get us. So instead of running away, why don't we just sneak over to her place and steal all her shit?
Okay, I got it slightly wrong, but the effect is they are not going to be guarding the palace very well, so we can go in and steal all the metal.
There's some logic there somewhere, I guess.
And then I'll be rich. I mean, we'll be rich.
Yeah.
Of course. And we get more lore from Organon about Adrasta's deal. All these tunnels down here in the pit are mined. But all the metal got mined out, so now metal is very, very rare and valuable on Chloris. And Adrasta owns this mine, and it's the only metal mine on Chloris. So she owns literally all the metal on the planet. And there being no metal for anyone else suits Adrasta and her metal monopoly. So keep that in mind for later, because it's going to be very important.
Yep.
And he also mentions that Organon also mentions he has not seen any creature like this big green wiggly thing on Chloris. So
They knew what they were doing.
Eh?
They had to
They
know what they were
absolutely
doing.
knew what they were doing because
had
they
to
were
know what they were
laughing
doing.
about this on set, apparently.
Yeah. I don't blame them in the slightest. It's ridiculous.
To the point where one of the people was like, okay, everybody grow up and stop.
Killjoy.
It didn't help, but,
Killjoy.
Cutting back to Romana for a bit, she's got a clever... She basically... So, the guys are trying to bust K9 to bits because rare, valuable metal. And Romana is basically... She saves K9 by telling Adrasta, everything you want to know about the TARDIS and the egg and all that shit is in K9's memory banks. And if you bust at him with hammers and chisels, you are going to damage his circuitry, and then you won't have the information. So she's like, stop breaking that thing apart. Okay, fine, get the information. So Romana cleans up the webbing, gets K9 back, and she just whispers to him, hey, K9, how's your power level? It's adequate, mistress. Oh, good. Can you stun these idiots? I can try. So she picks up K9, and she tries to make a break for it by stunning these guards, but it doesn't work, and she gets caught and held at sword point. And Adrasta's like, okay, you tin dog, you tell me everything I want to know, or I'll kill your mistress.
I'm going to say this right now. I don't care what game it's for. I don't care how long it takes or who does it. can someone please make a mod where one of the guns changes into K9? I want to be firing K9 at people.
What's this in?
Yeah.
Sorry?
What?
What? A mod in what, sorry?
A mod in
Any-
anything. Any shooter game that I can reasonably get. You
It
know,
could be Doom, it could be
Saints
Team
Row
Fortress
would be
2.
great.
Oh, Saints Row would be good.
That would be amazing.
Saints Row the third, to be specific, because that's the good one. The fourth one is just
A9
the third
gun
again.
mod.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sure it does not exist.
again,
but
googling it on the fly.
I'm putting it out there. I want it.
It's not like we have a show to do or anything like that.
What? Hang on. Nah. Mm-hmm. No, that's not. That Fallout gun isn't a K9 gun.
But the interesting thing about this this attempted escape is that even though he shot some of the guards and stunned them, Adresta seems quite pleased by this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she is pleased because she now realizes that, well, I've got K9, I don't need the creature anymore, we can kill it.
Yeah.
Yep. However, the worst part is that Romana gets captured again because she, I guess, didn't realize there were also guards behind her.
Yeah.
And so they threaten Romana for Adresta to be able to question K9, who immediately spills the beans about things like the TARDIS.
Now, this really sets in the capitalist rot brain bullshit that Adrasta
Yep.
and friends have, because upon learning that there is a time machine that can go anywhere in time and space, literally any goddamn place, any goddamn planet, any goddamn time,
What is Adresta's plan?
I'm gonna take a shitload of metal and become even more rich! Like, fuck!
Is she going to strip the TARDIS?
No.
No, she's not. She's going to use it to specifically go and take metal from other places.
Right, because that could have worked as well.
Yeah.
In her greed, she doesn't realize it could help her if she keeps it intact, and then she strips it bare. And...
Well, that's not even the thing. It's like infinite possibility, and all she can think of is more metal for me!
Yeah.
Fucking capitalist brain rot!
Which, I mean, that doesn't really make all that much sense. And obviously, that's the main idea, is that even though she'll add more metal to her wealth, the fact is that she can't really compare it to anybody else because everybody else doesn't have anything.
That's her entire superiority complex. I have
Yep.
all the metal and you don't. I'm better.
Yep. But of course, people are going to be like, where did this extra stuff come from? I thought there was no metal.
Well,
and then there's probably going to be like a whole uprising or something, which, you know, technically does happen in this. It's just a small group.
We do explore that bit later on, but...
Well, I mean, in Address's head, she'd say, well, if anyone questions me, I'll just say, kill him now! That's because that's her answer to not getting her way, is kill him now!
And in fact, she's so used to getting her way that she realizes that K9 could theoretically kill the creature.
Which then leads them to say, hey, open up the door back here in my chambers, and we're going to go down into the caves, and we're going to have K9 blast the shit out of that creature.
There's a weird bit here where Corella, which is...
Well, actually, I misspoke here. Well, part of her plan is also they're going to go into the pit and find the doctor so he can steer the TARDIS for her so that she can get a shitload of metal from other planets and be even more rich.
Yeah, there's a weird bit here where Corella, who is addressed as maidservant, or I suppose right-hand woman, who we've seen before in Doctor Who. Yeah. She was the old mother in Unearth the Child.
Oh, really? Neat.
The first murder victim in the show's history.
Yeah.
Don't like her character very much in this.
No. But I don't think you're supposed to like her.
Oh, no, not at all. She's if anything, she might be worse than Adrasta.
Her character does lead to the best moment of the story in part 4.
Yeah.
No, the best.
She's basically the Joffrey of this.
Oh God, yeah. The best
Plays
moment of the
it really
story
well,
is
but
teach
nobody
yourself
likes it.
Tibetan, but the second best is probably what you're talking about in part 4. But
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But anyway, Address's plan now is twofold. 1, go down into the pits, find the doctor so he can steer the TARDIS. 2, use K9 to kill the creature in the pits and get rid of it once and for all. And our episode 2 cliffhanger. Well, we should also mention that the Doctor and Organon have another encounter with the creature. But Organon takes a skull with like a candle in it and puts it under the penis and lights it up, and the thing recoils because fire bad.
Okay, Organon, I don't know what you've been watching, but that's not how you do candling. Someone will get that.
oh God.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Oh,
but I don't
God.
think I want to know. I really don't think I want to know.
I need the
I'm
doll.
getting,
I need the doll.
I'm getting images in my mind and I don't like them.
But
is what I'm saying.
Rainiac, I am an adult.
Okay, Mr. Popo.
Right, so episode 2's cliffhanger. They find the main chamber where the creature is, because all the stuff is just like, I guess, appendages, tentacles? And they find the main body of the creature, and him big. And some guards of Adrasta have found it as well. They shoot at it for a bit, and then they're like, "Ah, shit, retreat, retreat." And the doctor bravely walks up. Organon's like, "Doctor, no, you'll be killed." And the doctor, he's been trying to communicate with the creature all this time. He's just like, "Oh, hey, hello, it's me. I'm your friend. Okay, hey, now don't get too close. Hey, you're actually smushing me. Hurt. And then cliffhanger.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. I sit on you.
Oh my god.
I love that.
I knew that was
So
coming
part-
because you linked it in the Discord, but still, well done.
So part
Yeah.
3 then, we get Doctor getting sat on, and then Organon and the guards sort of retreat back as the creature advances. And then it just sprays something in front of the little cavern entrance that they back into, and makes a big shell around the door.
Yeah.
Which,
It's
I mean,
a
the
barrier,
doctor's
isn't it?
fine.
It's a barrier.
yeah, the doctor's fine, and he knocks on the shell to let them know that he's still alive and stuff, but now they're separated, and the guards are trying to break open the shell to get the doctor out.
Now, I have never had this issue before, even though I live with 2 brothers, but I do understand that sometimes socks get really stiff when that happens, so it kind of makes sense.
God,
I have so many penis jokes in me, you don't even know. Also, that was one.
yeah, I was about to say.
I was going to say, you didn't have to signpost it and say, that was a penis joke. We know it was a penis joke.
Everything. Listen, I picked fucking Creature from the Pit, so I knew what I was getting into.
The only reason you didn't hear me besides you said is I muted my microphone.
Right.
Also, I should mention that once I got criticized for not reading a certain book, so I couldn't fairly judge it. So I went ahead and I read that book just to be able to prove them wrong. That was 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh,
I know a lot about BDSM now because I did some actual research into it to see exactly how wrong 50 Shades was. So, y'all
From what I understand, very wrong.
here's the question. When you read 50
Extremely
Shades,
wrong.
Kat, did you have Gilbert Gottfried's voice in your head reading it to you?
Sadly,
Holy
no.
fuck, is this wrong?
But let me just say, holy crap, this woman cannot write. It makes Twilight look like Shakespeare.
I mean,
it started as Twilight fan fiction, did it not?
I'm not going to dunk
Yeah.
on Twilight in a world where Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2 exist.
You're gonna get me started.
That's not my intention. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's move on before
So,
I get it
yeah,
down
this
handled.
this barrier, this eggshell, it has a symbol on it that looks... bloody hell. It has a symbol on it that should look quite familiar.
Well, we'll get the real reveal of that in a little bit, but first off, the bandit break-in is occurring. And you got a little, like, morbid joke where they go in. How does this go? Where they kill the guy?
I can't remember.
Is it the one where they say that he's going to have a little talk with the?
That's it.
And
They're
then
gonna
you
have a
hear
little.
the guy go ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a conversationalist he is, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Jesus,
what I was
Torben, a
thinking
man
of.
just died.
Yeah, so they're breaking in, they're stabbing guards. The few that are remaining, well, everyone's down in the pit and shit.
Well, the few
So-
that are currently there, because later on there's a bunch of guards coming, more than they can handle apparently.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
that's what's
yeah.
said by one of the people.
So then we get to, I think, probably the highlight of the Gonzo laugh at the program.
This is the
Dang.
scene you forced me to use as the next time clip.
Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what a creature of the pit is to many people, is this scene. So the doctor first, this is a clue, he finds some little nuggets of pure cadmium and iron just lying there in the mine. Which is weird since this mine was supposed to be, like, stripped bare.
Yeah, these metals
But then
shouldn't
he
be here.
encounters the creature again, and he makes attempts to communicate with it. And he's just like, "Well, how do I talk to you? I mean, are you telepathic? What do I do here?" So his grand plan in an attempt to communicate with it is to grab the very inappropriately shaped appendage,
The appendage, yeah.
and blow into it and speak into it.
I'm not going to say
And
what this
it
looks
looks-
like, because the picture will be on the screen right now. We all know what this looks like.
Also, that is actually something that people do during sex. I wish I was joking.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of a tweet I saw like last week where someone said, and I apologize for the rudeness of this. Someone said, I had someone once who thought that a blowjob meant you blew on the dick.
Yeah, they're just cooling it off. It's no biggie. It's a bit hot down there.
The funniest one I've seen is, I don't know what I did wrong. She asked me to put a condiment on, and I put some ketchup on my dick.
Jesus Christ.
That caught me off guard, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, this is. Oh, God. We're going to need an NSFW tag for this show.
Well, either way, the doctor has like blown past third base with the big green mother from outer space.
Oh my
so-
god, Cat, stop.
So that's the very iconic. And I mean, like you said, Rainiac, everyone on set knew the game here. They were
I'm
struggling not to
95% sure that Tom Baker just did this on his own because he knew what it would look like and he was trolling.
It wouldn't have put me past. I would not put it past Tom Baker at this point.
Neither would I. That sounds like a Tom Baker thing. Yeah, but funny fellatio out of
There
context.
is an interesting
from
bit
Cat's
where
aside.
the Doctor gets the gender of the creature wrong. Like he's sweet talking it. He's like being nice to it. He says, "Good girl," and there's like this low grumble. "Good boy."
I mean, you think he would be able to tell. There's something right there that very much shows that it is a boy.
Yeah. Did they ever actually state what this appendage? Well,
I don't really think they do.
it doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a head.
Because the little things that come out later on are called arms on it, but it's never mentioned what this thing specifically
They had
is.
to add arms and legs to make it less phallic. It didn't work, but
Yeah, it really didn't work. It's
So-
very phallic.
it went from
So,
looking like a phallus to a phallus with some arms and legs on it.
So the important thing for the scene after that happens is that the creature then spray paints something onto the rock face, and it's a symbol. And the Doctor's like, "I've seen that symbol before." And we crossfade into the thing on the dress's wall as it's starting to glow and activate. There's lights on it, and it's going beep, boop.
Yes, Frezno. Spray paint. We'll go with that.
What would you go with?
I'm not going to say it out loud, but come on.
It jizzes on the wall.
Thank you, Cat.
You can't see the face I'm making right now, Cat, but you know the face I'm making right now, Cat.
I know the face you're making right now. I should probably mention I have no shame whatsoever. And I will very happily talk about that anytime. So
Sure, the face Rainiac is making, all right?
I wasn't going to go with that, but yes, that's one. That's one face I'm making right now. If I can find the exact,
I feel a glare coming at me from across the pond.
If I can find the exact picture, there's another facial expression I'm making right now.
Is it disgust?
Oh yes, well yes, but it's a specific type of disgust. It is.
Yeah, let's get the shit post out
that.
of the way.
That's the face I'm making right now.
I hope all this is going in the show, by the way.
Oh yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You know me too well. But
so, in Adrasta's palace, the bandits have broken into her chambers, and ooh, look at all this metal. Oh, this is made of solid bronze. Ooh, I'm rich. I mean, we're rich. We're rich. Of course, lads, we're rich. Yes.
And then they have a slight problem where there are a bunch of guards coming, more than they could handle. Almost like I said that before. Weird.
Yeah,
you did.
But before that, one of the bandits tries to take the thing off the wall, and he's like, "Oh, it's red hot, boss. Oh, yeah. What the hell is this thing?" And then when the boss touches it, it's not hot, and they're like, "Oh shit, there's guards! Quick, let's take this damn thing. Let's go back in here, and then we'll hide and escape from the guards." So they go down into the pits.
Yep. Which is probably a bad idea, but it also turns into a good thing because when they get down to the bottom, they put the plate down on a rock, I guess, and it starts acting up again, and then it hypnotizes them.
And they two of them just waltz off carrying it. So,
which is also a fetish.
Yes. Just.
I'm not gonna stop.
Is there anything in this that isn't a fetish?
Hypnotism is a fetish. So.
I mean, you're right, but you didn't have to say it. Bring up the picture of Marge
It's a really
Simpson.
gross fetish because there's dubious consent there.
She's right, but you don't have to say it.
Oh, I absolutely had to say it because fuck you guys. If I have to suffer with all this knowledge, so will you, and so will everyone else.
Kink knowledge.
Forbidden knowledge.
Oh God. So,
just a friendly reminder: consent. Always get consent. If they're drunk, they can't give consent. If they're high, they can't give consent.
They're brainwashed by a shiny shell. They probably
can't give consent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way of bringing it back to the episode, I guess. Question mark.
I do my best. I do my best. So the doctor chatting with, or trying to chat with the creature, he picks up these bits of shell that are laying around, and the creature gets really mad with him at this and just rears up, and the doctor's like, okay, I'm gonna put him back.
Puts them down. He starts walking off. However, the camera decides to pan down where his scarf is dragging. And on top of the scarf is a little piece of shell that he's happening to abscond with.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Smart.
Clever.
So, Adrasta and Romana and K9 make it to the shell.
Oh my gosh, this scene.
Oh, go ahead.
I love this scene so much. So, Adrasta's looking at this thing and she's like getting all pissed off because it has to come down. She needs the doctor. She's throwing a big old tantrum. She's on the floor. She's like 2 years old now. And she absolutely demands that K9 starts taking it down. So K9 tries to do it, but they find out that apparently it's a self-repairing substance. So by trying to destroy it, K9 is actually making it stronger. And then the doctor just fucking Kool-Aid Man throws it.
It's so good.
Even better is the explanation for how he was able to do it. Address like, how the hell did you manage that, Doctor? He goes, I asked it very nicely. And that's the only explanation you get.
He literally Duggins the wall.
And this is wild because the previous story had Dugganing everything, so his influence is strong.
It's such a beautiful scene because they're like, oh no, we'll never be able to save the doctor now, and then he just.
Oh yeah!
It's a shame he didn't trip over when he made his entrance through the wall, because I could have made a Shotmaster joke. But
oh Jesus! So and this is where Adrasta also slips up, where the doctor mentions, "Oh, I was just chatting with the creature about some stuff," and Adrasta's like, "How? You possibly couldn't, because the creature can't talk without the." Never mind. So
oopsie number one. Organon gets a great line here when Adrasta goes into the pit. She gets to the barrier. She's like, "Organon, aren't you? Why haven't you died?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, my lady. It was an oversight."
It's so good.
He plays it really well as Jeffrey Belden, but he was a great actor. We've sadly lost now, but
yeah, oh, shame. So they continue on down to the pit. Adrasta makes Organon go look for the monster, and he can't find it. And then she does another slip-up where she calls the creature a Tythonian. So she obviously knows more than she lets on, and we're about to find out because we're getting to episode 3, and this is the great shit.
She starts to unravel here, does Adrasta?
Oh yeah, like Kat said, a 2-year-old having a tantrum.
Oh yeah, it's like, I think I made this joke to you, Frez, but I said, "Wow, she has to have made all the tunnels in there because she's chewing the scenery."
Oh god, yeah. I mean, it's real. Instead of I want the thing. It's kill him now, kill him.
Don't care how I want it.
I was gonna say, this is just Space Age Veruca Salt grown up.
Oh my god! But
all right, Frez, it's time to talk about the scene.
Okay, well, first I want to talk about the iconic line where she makes Romana point K9 against a rock because, the dog can shoot lasers.
Yeah.
She's just like, point K9 against that rock. Now, Doctor, you're going to get the creature here and we're going to kill it. And then during the scene, Romana turns around or something, and the actress just looks at Romana and K9 and she yells, "It's the rock!"
What did she yell?
Point the dog against the rock!
Yes.
She just does it in such this angry tone, just like, "You do it right now!"
I hope that was an ad lib.
Frez, how does Romana and the Doctor use K9 to get out of this situation?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Kat, because the Doctor holds up an object which reflects the laser of K9 back at Adrasta. And that object is a mirror! Doctor Who mirror alert! Whoop, 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 whoop.
It's not even addressed to it's the 2 guards.
Yeah.
Who I kind of feel a bit sorry for, because 15 minutes earlier, they were trying to save the Doctor's life.
I think he tries to shoot Adrasta, but either he misses or he just hits her very lightly.
No, he's aiming at the guards.
Anyway, then
I remember Adrasta like moving out of the way of Beam. But
maybe the second one was aiming for Adrasta, but he definitely was aiming for one of the guards.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool move because he holds it up, the beam reflects it, and then he takes it down, and K9 shoots the one behind him.
Yeah.
Good shit. But then Adrasta gets the Doctor at knife point, and she's like, "Okay, now you're gonna kill that monster with K9 right this second, or I'm gonna kill the Doctor."
And speaking of that monster,
yeah,
it's loose.
Yeah, and it's coming
it was already loose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but even better than that, there are 2 guys coming with a specific little plate.
So these brainwashed boys are coming in with the plate, and Adrasta freaks her shit. It's just like, no.
This is good acting. No! This is good acting.
Yeah, remember when I said before she was chewing the scenery? Now she's just like chomping it down.
Yeah, but
it is so over the top.
I'm washing it down with a nice beverage, but yes.
Now, what's interesting is that I don't know what you thought she was afraid of at first, since you've never seen this story. I mean, I knew because I've seen it, but did you think she was just afraid of the creature in general when she was screaming, "No"?
No, I think she was afraid of whatever that plate was going to do to the creature.
Yeah, because obviously I didn't. I assume we didn't know what the plate actually was at this point. But the whole time I was thinking something about that plate is going to make it so that her entire plan is foiled. Because I had the idea that she was hiding the creature down here for some reason. I just wasn't sure of what it was.
I thought it might have been a weapon for the creature to use. Mind you, its weapon is itself because it's so big.
Like,
at one point, I kind of thought that Adrasta maybe came from the creature, and by giving it back the thing, it would be able to, like, take her down or something.
it's interesting theories, I must say, but the thing I'm going for here is that on broadcast, it really seems like a desperate, oh god, we're all but the screams of no are, in context, basically, like you said, oh no, my entire plan's about to be foiled. It's like, oh no, you're gonna take all my money away!
Yeah.
No!
I do like the screaming though, and I think she does a great job.
It's just so...
It's just really over the top.
Yeah.
But it
She's
works.
just
It works with the character. The character is over the
It
top.
works. It's just that whole entire character is super over the top.
She's a pantomime
yeah.
villain.
I
really
will
is.
say though, I'm forever going to be thinking of this scene and wishing it was Jeff Bezos. Instead of her.
Well. I think I'd think of Jeff Bezos in episode 4, which we'll talk about in a moment. But
Yes.
I just love the fact that she's screaming in mortal terror because she's not gonna have as much money and power anymore.
She is Space Station Veruca Salt.
Yeah. It's like if you threatened to take away half of Jeff Bezos' money, he'd probably let out that same sort of petulant scream.
You could take $1 from him and he'd probably do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that it's really good acting, but it also does show how petty and petulant Adrasta is.
Careful,
As
guys.
we'll find out
You'll
when
have the weird nerds after us.
When the truth of the reveal comes here in episode 4. So she's screaming, no! And the guys put the thing on the creature. They snap out of it, and they're like, oh, what are we doing here? And I love the way the leader turns around, and he just sees the dress, and he's like, oh, Adrasta! Run away!
Yeah.
So they leg it. They're just like, fuck this!
And they're just able to leave, so
Speaking of
everyone's
people
distracted
leaving
by
the
giant
scene,
demons.
in the whole chaos
Yeah.
of the mirror shooting earlier, I said mirror
Yeah.
shooting.
don't worry, they'll be back later.
Corella also got away,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Also, for the longest time, I thought her name was Cruella,
Love
and that's not what it is.
Disney's
But it's like-
Cruella?
is like
Her
a violin.
name's like Corella, Corella, rather than Cruella.
But we had that
Still a better
conversation.
movie than the actual movie that's coming out.
We had that
Seriously, what the
conversation
hell,
last
Disney?
week, so we won't do that again.
Yeah.
But
So the doctor heads up to the creature, and it's like, well, what is this thing? And he touches it, and then the doctor talks, but it's not the doctor talking. So we get this scene where it's just like, oh, don't be frightened. What's going on? I didn't say that. You didn't say what? You know, that thing I said about how I shouldn't be frightened? Yeah, I didn't say that because I was thinking about how frightened I was.
yeah, I like this concept. So what's happening is that the plate is actually the creature's communicator.
It uses
And it,
the larynx of whoever
Yes.
touches it
Yeah,
to communicate verbally.
which is a neat sci-fi idea.
Yeah.
So now that the creature can actually talk through the doctor's voice box, we get the truth of the matter. This creature is from the planet Tithonus. It's a Tithonian, and its name is Arato,
Oh, and even better, it's an ambassador.
Yeah,
an ambassador from Tithonia.
So
So,
Adrasta's all kinds of fucked right now.
yeah.
pretty much. Yeah,
Oh god, I wrote this thing, but it mentions really quickly that it doesn't eat people. It eats chlorophyll and mineral salts. So there's that. And while this is happening, the wolfweeds come in because Corella calls the huntsman. She gets
Cruella,
back up to the
Carella.
surface. Corella. Corella?
I mean, Corella,
Corella.
Cruella, who cares?
Yeah.
I'd say Corella, which
Yeah,
it's not Cruella, but you know.
You definitely said Cruella earlier, though. But
Karen.
yeah.
Karen goes up and she calls the huntsman.
She got back to the palace where there was a guard that survived the slaughter. She got him to summon the huntsman.
Yeah. So the huntsman gets down there with the wolf weeds, and K9 gets got by the weeds again. And I wrote in my notes, here's how Adrasta can still win.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Because she really thinks, now we got K9. Now we can kill that creature. Don't listen to a word it says. Let's just kill it and ignore everything that's saying. So, because I'm cool and I'm in power, so do whatever I say.
And the Beastmaster's just like, no, I want
the
to hear this.
Beastmaster.
I
want to hear it.
The Beastmaster, the huntsman, yeah.
I like the Beastmaster, but he's the huntsman, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's Arato who gets the line referring to the petty power cravings of that pathetic woman.
Yeah. So Tom Baker gets to deliver it, of course.
Well, yeah. So
basically, the long of the short of it is that he's here because there's a lot of metal on their planet, but not a whole lot of chlorophyll, and they're starting to run out. However, this planet has a ton of, plant life, but no metal. So he's just here in order to try to make a trade agreement.
Yeah.
So, hey, we take a bunch of your plants, and we have a lot of plants. We give you a bunch of our metal, then you have a bunch of metal. It's a win-win situation.
The idea is...
Honestly, this would benefit the planet more because then they would have cleared out areas for them to plant more things and cultivate the land.
This also, is painted as it was going to be a beneficial deal for both of them.
Yeah. I also want to mention... I got interested last evening, so I bothered to actually read the novelization of Creature from the Pit. And it adds a little bit where Arado has a bit of a inner monologue about how Arado wants to get chlorophyll because they're low on chlorophyll on Tithonus for the newborn Tithonians to survive. So actively trying to save their babies.
Yeah.
With chlorophyll. So keep that in mind when you hear
just to recap, not only would they be able to bring more wealth to the planet, but they'd also be able to remove some of the plant life there, making it so that it would be easier for them to cultivate the land. But he's also bringing this food back in order to make sure that their children will survive.
Yeah.
So that's not in the episode, but it does accentuate all the more the fucked up part we're going to happen is that what happened is that Arato met Adrasta first. And
Adrasta's not going to have any of that shit because she hoards all the wealth.
So it's like, wait, if you bring a shitload of metal here, all my metal's going to be worthless. We can't have that. A mutual beneficial agreement for the people of Chloris, but I lose my wealth? No.
There's also a moment where... when Adrasta is throwing out various threats, at one point she threatens to kill Organon if the doctor doesn't do what she wishes.
Oh, this is good. And he's just like, really? Oh, well, Organon, thanks. Like, good sport. Yeah. Thank you so much.
He wasn't actually going to let him die.
Organon's a little offended by it.
Romana clears up later that he wasn't actually going to let Organon die.
Yeah.
But it's still a bit of a weird moment.
Yeah.
Because this doctor is a hero.
Yeah, but
it's one of those moments of where he's tricking the bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing. Adrasta met Arado. Arado offered this trade agreement. Adrasta realized the trade agreement would destroy her monopoly, her hoarded wealth on the planet, and so, as Tom Baker puts it, she tipped Arado into a pit and threw astrologers at him. Rather than lower her own wealth, but create a better future for her planet, she ignored it, threw this guy down the pit, and anyone who disagreed with her, she threw down there, and they got crushed to death.
I'm telling you, Jeff Bezos.
And Adrasta just becomes completely unhinged. She's just like, it's all lies, kill the doctor, kill him right now, kill him, do it.
So the doctor has the bright idea here of, well, if we touch the communicator, then people are just going to think, oh, they're lying. So let's have Adrasta do it, and it'll come from her voice.
The huntsman
No,
at
I
this
don't
point, the huntsman has turned on Adrasta.
And he basically makes the weeds like push her to the creature, and the doctor grabs her hand and puts it on the thing, and then we hear from Adrasta's voice, "Yeah, that's all true. She did all this shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's a fucking arch capitalist hoarder who put her own interests before yours."
Yep.
And at some point,
and
she
then-
takes her hand off the plate, and then it gets put back on again. And then the amazing
More
thing
to the
happens.
point, I'm pissed off, so I've got a score to settle.
And then he just sits on her.
Yeah, do you remember that whole thing about Arata being like, for the beneficial of two races? Yeah, he forgets that, and just kills her.
I mean, yeah, it gives you the favorite, but the weeds hop on her and knock her down, and then Arado sits on her, and he eats the weeds and kills Adrasta.
Yeah.
And
In fact,
Arato's
he
just like,
thanks the doctor because he said that was the first full meal he's gotten in 15
Which
years.
is a bit rough on the weeds, because the weeds were trying to help.
yeah.
I know they were basically subservient to the huntsman, and the huntsman sent them to attack Adrasta, but still,
Wow, like,
kind of a good
It
move.
really came out of left field because I was just like, wait, he just murdered her. What? What?
eat the rich!
I mean, I've got a knife and fork here. Just point me the right way.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, this is, it could have been the climax to the story, I suppose, but here it is at the beginning of episode 4, so there's still a whole lot left, and Ryder's got to eat, so what are we going to fill it with? Well, some good, some bad.
Yeah, the huntsman thanks the doctor for his help, and he's like, it's not over yet.
Nope.
He's pretty convinced that something is going to happen.
Yeah.
So first we gotta let Arado out of the pit, which they do eventually. But the doctor still doesn't completely trust him, mind. And
yeah,
so
he thinks Arado's missing. He's not telling him something.
yeah. But he mentions that the egg that's in the jungle was Arado's ship, but it can't function without a piece of photon drive, which just so happens to be that little chunk of shell that the doctor had on his scarf. So, as soon as he figures out Arado's true deal, he'll be like, okay, I'll just happily give that back to you, but you gotta tell me the truth.
Yeah.
So Arado comes to see them in Adrasta's former palace, I guess.
Outside, the huntsman opens the door, and it's just, Arata's just there with the plate.
Yeah.
And this
So
is
this
the
time-
problem I have with the creature is that its size keeps changing throughout the entire serial. It's like- I don't know, because at one point when we're in the caves and the doctor finds it just before the wall goes up in at the end of part 2, it's like there's this humongous mass, and then the actual creature itself comes out of the mass.
I think the idea is these are like tendrils of the main creature. So the main creature is just like out in the jungle somewhere, and here's this tentacle poking through the door, like, "Oh, hello, doctor. How are you?"
Yeah,
I guess.
I think this is the puppetry problem they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Either way, there's a tentacle man at the door, and Romana puts her hand on the thing, and now it's talking as Romana. And we find out, unfortunately, the shell was sending a distress signal, and the planet Tithonus has already responded to that distress signal by sending something called a neutron star that's going to blow up Chloris' sun and kill everybody. Bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and apparently because the planet is so far away, they had already dispatched it, so they literally have 24 hours in order to try to resolve this, or else the planet will be destroyed.
The doctor convinces Arado that they can both work together, and Arado's like, I don't know, these people kind of fucked me. They threw me in a pit for 15 years. And the doctor's like, oh, that was just a shitty arch-capitalist. Are you going to condemn an entire planet because of one bad apple? And Arado's like, oh, okay, fine, I'll help.
Arata is
And the
sort of
doctor
depicted
says-
as a quote-unquote good character. Yes, they held back some important information, but then again, they were held down a pit for 15 years, so you can kind of understand it.
You can't blame him. So the doctor's like, well, Arado's like, well, what were you going to do if I was going to just leave? Oh, well, you see, I took the tiny little precaution of taking your photon drive from you, but, no worries. I'll give it back
Slight
to you.
problem with that, however. See, the doctor handed the drive over to
Organon.
Organon in order to keep it safe. However, while they were there, just before they went out to go talk to him, there were some of the guys, Torvin and some of the other people there, and they could overhear them. And one of the guys points out, one of the guys points out and says, "Hey, if they go ahead with this trade agreement, won't we lose all of our wealth?" And Torvin's just like, "Oh, who cares? We have this wealth now." And they leave. But while Organon is looking at all these different star charts, and he's like, very curious. That's not supposed to be there. He's alluding towards the neutron star. But someone comes up behind him and just bonks him on top of the head.
There is great timing in this bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
So everyone goes, "Oh no, something terrible is going to happen." Clonk.
So the Doctor has the plan to save the planet. His plan is that Erato will use its shell weaving power to wrap the neutron star in aluminum, or aluminium as you would call it, Rainiac. I think that's what they say in the story. Because that's the British pronunciation. Yes. Wrap it in that, and then they use
wrong pronunciation.
But yeah. And then so they'd wrap it up, and then they'd use the TARDIS as a gravity with a gravity beam to yeet the star off into space so it doesn't destroy Chloris. So that's the plan. Unfortunately, when they go back to get the photon drive, here's Organon knocked out, and the shell is gone. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. So back at the bandit camp, the bandits are like, "Haha, we did it. We got our haul back. We're rich." And then Corella comes up and stabs Torvin in the back. And Torvin's last goddamn words are, he looks at the knife, he's like, "Tempered steel, oh, I bet that's worth quite a lot of money."
This is why I don't like Corella.
And you're not meant to, because hang on, I linked the perfect image to Kat that illustrates what what episode 4 represents, because Corella basically pitches the idea to these bandits. "I've got the shell hidden safely away so the creature can't get away, but even though Drast is dead, we can take all the metal and we can split it up, and we can be the rulers of this planet. We can be the wealthiest people alive who have all the metal and all the power." And here I am sitting there like...
Yeah.
Is that an actual line from that game?
That's an actual line from Earthbound.
Amazing.
Also, I just realized Mr. T is there.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's Mr. T doing on the left there?
That's Mr. T's. Yeah, Mr. T is a sprite in Earthbound. That's just how that game works. It's lovely. But, yeah. So they can hoard all their precious, precious metal and be rich. And, this is kind of prescient in some way, because, this fucking planet is about to be incinerated. And they have the one piece of thing that can help them, but it's like, "Oh, we won't do that, because then we'll lose our monopoly. We'll lose all our money. We're going to hoard all the money as long as we can. Who cares about anyone else?" Which gets expressed when the Doctor comes in looking for the shell.
Corella is actually kind of like a flat earther here, where she doesn't believe the neutron star is actually coming. So she's just like, "That's all a lie. You just want to keep all the money for yourself."
It's worse than that, because even if it is real, she's prepared to let the planet die and everyone on it, including herself, as long as she controls the monopoly of metal.
She specifically says that, too.
Yes.
So there's no
reading
between the lines.
Forgetting the small problem that if everyone dies, it includes her.
And
she's fine with that.
Capitalist rot brain. That's capitalist brain rot at the heart of the story. And this leads to the iconic scene of the story for me.
Your favorite bit.
Like, listen, we've had a laugh at green penis monsters and all that shit, but this is my shit right here. So, like you said, the Doctor comes in, he's like, "Where's the shell? You guys are a bunch of dumbasses. If I don't get that shell, everyone on this planet is going to die." And, Corella's like, "I don't believe that shit."
And even if it does happen, fuck everybody else.
Yeah. "You're going to condemn us all to death if you don't give us the shell. That's a chance I'm prepared to take, so long as I get to stay rich." And so it's like, yeah, she's willing to gamble the lives of everyone on this planet as long as she gets hers. So the doctor, Tom Baker, thoughtfully walks over to the pile of metal. So this is the stuff you're willing to sacrifice everyone on Cloris for, right? And he just sweeps all that shit onto the floor, and he's like, are you willing to sacrifice the lives of everyone on this planet for wealth? Yes, I am! Oh, I thought you'd say that. K9? And K9 waltzes over to the pile of metal, this valuable substance, this thing that they're willing to let everyone die for, and blasts the shit out of it. Just burns it all away.
He melts it.
All their
Literally
precious
nothing left
fucking-
but ash.
Good dog.
Yes, very good dog.
Like, fuck. This is so good. It's just
So
Good
basically, we can say that not only has K9 killed a man in this episode, but he also killed the capitalism of a planet.
best dog. Best dog.
You see why I like K9 so much?
You see why I like this cereal so much?
Yeah. It's got
Actually, yeah, because it's basically Kerblam, but better.
it's got what the director.
Oh, right?
It's got the Holy Trinity of
none
what
of
you
this-
like in these stories. It's got mirrors, it's got gonzo,
bullshit.
and it's got anti-capitalism stuff.
It's a perfect little bottle of Frezcore.
Fresco.
I love it.
So I think we can safely say, if anybody wants to know what Frez is all about, just watch this serial.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. But we do have the small matter of and
Well,
this
minus
is,
the possible anti-Semitism that he's.
Yeah.
minus
yeah.
that. We're gonna get so that keeps it from being perfect. We'll get to that when we get to the wrap up. But for now, we do have the final scene, which this kind of feels like a bit of a tacked on sort of danger. Like writers got to eat, extend it by 5 more minutes, where we deal with the whole planet thing, the neutron star. So basically, the plan works. You know, there's a little bit of danger here and there, but the plan works. All you need to say is Arado weaves the thing of aluminum around the star. The Doctor uses the gravity beam to push it away, but but just before he can turn it off, the TARDIS sort of sparks, and the gravity beam's stuck. The neutron star's coming right to them, and they have to dematerialize really quick before they get killed by it. And they do it, and they live, and the day is saved. That's basically what happens.
The special effects are pretty good for 1978, I think.
But I mean, the real climax of the story to me is that moment where K9 blows up the metal that these people are trying to hoard.
Yeah, were it
Well,
not for the important bit that, you know, they need the piece of the eggshell, they need the photon drive to get Arato into space, you can almost reverse these two scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have the climax being K9 blasting the gold. Blasting the metal, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Also, K9's voice is coming out of Arato because they've got the plate in the TARDIS.
And K9's like got a sensor on the thing, so it's Arado, but it's also K9. But it's also David Brierly instead of John Leeson.
And Arato's not in the TARDIS, he's in his ship.
Yeah, he's in his big egg.
I will say, though, they did forget to do one thing in this serial. They forgot to direct the neutron star, because now it is going to hit Puppetron 5, where there are a bunch of sentient puppies.
Oh boy.
So
There's a nice joke where Romana says, "Oh, the odds of us succeeding were 73,454,312 to 1 against," or something like that. And the doctor just goes, 73 million. He says the number, 73,454,000. That's extraordinary. It's my lucky number.
There's another good number joke where I think it's in part 4, where the Doctor is asked how many lives does a Time Lord have. He says 90, and how many of you used 130?
God. So we get our end of the story. The Huntsman is now in charge of Cloris, and he's got the contract from Arato to get the whole trade agreement on the go. And it's just a happy little ending.
Yeah.
There's a cute little bit with Organon and the Huntsman, and that's the end of the story. That's the end of Creature from the Pit.
The cute little bit
And
is
I would
funny
love to hear-
because funny because it's like the Huntsman's like it's the Doctor said that's a draft contract for a trading agreement, and then That's what I was talking on. What is it? He just like a sort of mystical mumbo jumbo hand signals and goes, I'm seeing it's a draft contract for a trading agreement. How do you know that? Oh, it's written in the stars.
So that's Creature from the Pit, and I would love to hear what you two think.
Why don't you go first, Kat?
Okay. My first reaction to this.
Oh?
Oh, it's funny as hell. It's so funny. It's like, there's the obvious funny bits, but there's also like the small bits. Like, Romana is in the beginning is like has this box of junk and she's trying to clean out the TARDIS, and she finds a ball of string, and the doctor says that Theseus and I'm probably going to butcher this name, Theseus and Ariadne. Ariadne, thank you. Like he produced that ball of string in order to save them from the Minotaur's maze, and it's like that's a cool little bit there. And the how to teach yourself Tibetan. So it's full of all these really really funny beats, and it's like it's anti-capitalist, and I'm always for that. It's got like this overacting hammy villain who is just wonderful, and I love watching her. I personally don't have any problems with it. I could see, however, if someone else might have a problem. And I do respect that. But I would have to say that I really enjoyed this serial, and I would happily watch this again at any time. So
I found it with Chris.
Yeah. This will be after.
Yeah.
This would be a good palate cleanser after if we do one with Chris. Yeah.
Rain, why don't you go?
Yeah, I will. So, when you look at the story with a critical eye, it doesn't quite hold up. The pacing is quite slow in bits. There's quite a bit of repetition. In particular, with there's a scene where Adrasta sends Corella and some guards into the mine, and then they come back, and she sends them into the mine again. So that's not really necessary. Adrasta is an interesting villain. She's a bit one-dimensional, but Myra Francis acts her socks off and really seems to relish playing this evil woman. And the screaming at the end of part 3 is incredible. I mean, this is like Mel Bush screaming territory.
Gosh.
The monster, quote unquote, because actually, it's somewhat friendly, although it is prepared to have Cloris wiped out for a bit before it comes to its senses. It is phallic. It is phallic in the extreme. And Lyle Ward didn't enjoy working on this, and I can imagine the crew didn't enjoy working on this. But after last week's story, I needed something competent, and this is certainly more than competent. And as Kat says, it's hilarious. The little gags like Ramona sprinkling in the TARDIS, teach yourself Tibetan is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Props to whoever came up with that particular joke. It's fun, it's political, but it's fun. And yeah, I would happily watch this again.
So for me, this is definitely, and I have to say it like this because I don't want to ignore the elephant in the room, a problematic fave. Yeah, like I said, everything I love about Doctor Who is in here. You got your gonzo bullshit with the creature design. You've got great comedy. You've got a hell of an anti-capitalist story at the end, where the Doctor, in the end of the story, blows up their wealth so they can't hoard it, which is brilliant. And you've even got some real good mirror alerts. So, what's not to love? Well, the problematic elements that people have seen. That's something to love, and that keeps me from saying it's absolutely perfect. But it's a problematic fave. I like it a lot. I own that, and I own that liking of it. And if anyone wants to drag me for that liking, they're free to have a reasonable discussion with me on Twitter.com. But I think
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
You're gonna get so fucked over.
That's why God invented the private
He
button.
isn't, because 10 people listen to these, so he's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, it has its problems, but I feel like it also does things really well. So, I don't know. Sometimes you can just love a messy Doctor Who story, right? And I really like this story.
Again, like what I said before, I didn't get that reading from it at all. And it's like I have no idea exactly what it is that's supposed to be stereotypical Jewish.
No,
I don't see it.
The only thing I can think of is Torben's voice.
And again, to be perfectly honest, I've never read Oliver Twist. I've never seen it. I really don't care about it. So I did not make that connection whatsoever. I didn't make any connection at all. And it's like, usually I'm really good at spotting the racist stuff because it's so blatant half the time.
I thought he sounded like Fagin. I didn't connect that with anti-Semitic tropes, though. So,
yeah.
If it's in there, that's my bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like ever since I found out about the anti-Semitic stuff in Harry Potter, I've decided to be more forward thinking about what I've been consuming.
Is that the house elves?
No, it's the goblins.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
That
one is pretty obvious, but when you're a kid and reading it, you don't read that specific interpretation.
Yeah, because Bank,
it's only later on that it becomes a little more obvious exactly what
I know where you're
doing.
coming from with that. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That to me seems more obvious than this.
Anyway, I like it, but it's got problems that people have pointed out, and I would be remiss in not acknowledging that reading exists. But I mean, there's definitely some strengths in this story that make it one that I like. God help me. So there's that. That's me, Kent. So what do we got next time, Rainiac?
Oh yes, it's my choice, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, we've just had a really, to use a word that you like to use a lot, Jerry, gonzo story.
Thank you.
And what's the best way to follow a gonzo story?
More gonzo?
More gonzo.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say trad bullshit.
No. You don't know me at all, do you? No. We're going full gonzo to the wall here.
Yes, I do. I know you. Murray Gold! Holy shit!
So, I could have picked another Sylvester McCoy story. Yeah, fair enough. You know me very well.
I know where we're going. I know where we're going.
I could have picked Sylvester McCoy.
But you didn't?
But ultimately I didn't.
Oh, shit. We're not going there. Okay.
No. We're not going there yet.
Okay.
Give that 3 weeks. But...
Wait, hang on. There's something more gonzo than the Candyman?
Well,
I would
judge for
I
yourself.
wouldn't
Because
say
it
that,
said...
when he says a Gonzo McCoy story that we haven't done yet, I know there's one that pops into mind.
But it can only be one of 2. We haven't
show?
done it yet. It's only one of 2. But it's not either of those. This is going to be... Because the last one I picked of this was problematic. The last second Doctor story I picked was 2 with the Cybermen. That was a mistake.
Yes.
I'm going to rectify the mistake right now.
Okay.
I know where we're going. Now I know where we're
Patrick
going.
Troughton, Gonzo, you know exactly where I'm going. Next time on Doctor Who Reviews, Patrick Troughton stars in The Mind Robber.
Yeah!
Huh. Sounds interesting.
This is really wild.
And
Go
then
into
we
this
actually
blind.
watch it and it turns out it's super sexist or something.
No.
This is fine.
Rainiac and I have watched it before. So.
We've
As long as
reviewed
you've
this.
seen this one before.
We've reviewed this as a
It's
duo.
Gucci.
That's how I know it's okay.
It's Gucci.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Unless there's some hidden
I was gonna
context
say,
we've
you have a
missed.
track record, unfortunately. It's like, it's not your fault, but it just keeps happening.
This is me trying to end the track record.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to search really hard to find something.
Don't worry. This time we'll complain about that one shot at the end of episode 1. 5 minutes.
Interesting.
I would
Well,
just
I'll
say
keep
go into
myself
this
in the
blind.
dark until we get there.
Do go
as
into
I
this one
usually
blind.
do.
You'll get more enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, it's
Because as
It's
Frezno
so
can
weird.
attest, I went into it blind when we watched it for our review, our duo review, and I wasn't sure what the hell I watched. So
What the hell was that?
yeah, basically,
But it's
what the
good.
fuck
it's
is
a,
this shit?
It's a good one. It's a classic.
it is a good
It's
one. I think it
classic
might be one of the best
Patrick
Troutons actually.
Troughton. I would go there.
And we haven't done too much. Yeah, all right, we did the Underwater Menace for the 100th, but we haven't done too many Petra Troutons.
No, we haven't. What have we done, Petra? Because like most of it is missing. I mean, they're working on animation for some of it, but like we've
Done the Macroterra, we've done Tomb of the Cybermen,
Underwater Menace, Macroterra,
2 Doctors and 5 Doctors.
2 Doctors and 5 Doctors.
Well, 4.5 doctors.
Yeah, actually, I think that's all the Patrick Troughton we've done.
Yeah, so I figured it was time to go back to him.
Yep.
A lot of it is a problem because a lot of it is missing. So
Yeah.
I mean, they are working on the animations and stuff. So
As long as we can put off having to watch the Aztecs, I'm fine with that.
You know what we forgot to mention when we did a time meddler?
oh, what's that?
We forgot to mention that there is apparently a remake or an animated version of Galaxy 4 coming out.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Galaxy 4 is a interesting story.
With a very interesting monster that should really come back
Is
to
that
Doctor Who.
gonzo interesting or just interesting?
It contains Peter
a
Capaldi's favourite monster.
A little comedy.
It contains.
I got to laugh at this because I can't find the clip, but there's these little dumpy sort of R2D2 ripoff. Well, not ripoff because Star Wars was after this. These little sort of R2D2 like robots called Chumblies. Yeah.
Peter Capaldi's favourite monster.
Yeah, because there was this panel or something where people asked what their favorite monsters in Doctor Who are. So Stephen Moffat was like, "Ooh, it's got to be the Daleks, right?" And Jenna Coleman said, "Oh, the Weeping Angels are definitely scary." And Peter Capaldi just leans into the mic and goes, "The Chumblies."
And one person
Moffat just loses his shit.
and one
Everyone's
person
just
at
like,
the
"What?"
back of the room was very excited by that.
Yeah. And Moffat loses his shit, and Peter Capaldi's just like, "Call yourselves Doctor Who fans, huh?"
Yeah. He is amazing. I love that clip of him at another convention where he's he nearly chokes on a glass of water and goes, "Oh, almost regenerated there."
Hi, I'm Jodie.
Yeah, they put on Jodie Whittaker's voice.
God.
How is he so awesome?
He just is.
He's so good. But yeah, Galaxy 4 is a
And then he wandered into the wrong
interesting
Zoom
choice.
call.
Oh yeah, you went to the wrong Galaxy 4, interesting choice for an animation. It's 4 parts. I guess that's why they picked it over some. And it's got assets they can build on. It's a gonzo choice in some ways, but also a safe one as far as building animation assets. So
I'm keen to see what they do with the Dravins.
that'll be interesting.
The Dravins, I think, is an interesting concept they could definitely do more with.
Yeah.
They have shown up in Big Finish.
Okay.
Briefly. I mean, they're not like hugely used in Big Finish, but they have shown up in Big Finish. I think they showed up in the first Doctor audio, which makes sense.
Makes sense.
But I think there's a lot of you could do with that particular concept, and maybe if that animation does come out, we'll cover it. But
Yeah. Because animations are fair game if you want to do any. Well, there's only a handful of Patrick Troughton
we are going
ones
to do
that are out
the full animations at some point. Yes.
there.
Well, I mean, technically, we did one that was partially just still images, so everything's fair game.
I mean, there are also there's also stories that are like half existing and then half animation.
Yeah.
So those are on the table as well.
Yeah, I think if the story exists in some full form,
Yeah.
I think it's on the table.
We probably will avoid like fully mixing stuff, but for you, Rainiac, in your own time, I think you should check the reconstruction of the Mythmakers, just because
I'm definitely going to do that because you know that's down my alley.
You like mythology, and it's also pretty funny and weird in a lot of ways.
If they ever animate that, or if they ever find the full versions of that, we are doing that like a shot.
Yeah, but until then, I think you should definitely do the reconstruction. You got to get into a different headspace to do
I
reconstructions.
will do that, but we're not going to do any reconstructions other than the Underwater Menace. That was a special one-off.
Yeah.
We had to do Underwater Menace after years of. But anyway, where can we find these? Anyway, well, before we plug ourselves, I should mention two little things.
Go on.
First off, of course, buy Back to the 11th Hour by Krista McTeer, available now on Amazon.com. But also, I wanted to plug her current blogging because she has been working on season 2 of Back to the 11th Hour, which is series 6 of Doctor Who, The Silence Arc. And a couple days ago, she put out a pretty good post on the Rebel Flesh Almost People two-parter. And, it wasn't a very good, she didn't like the episodes, but she had a take on it that's unique and interesting and makes you go, oh, yeah. From that perspective, I can see why you would think those episodes are bad. So it was a good take, and I liked it, and I like Krista's writing. She's a really good writer, and I want to boost her, so there you go. Read her post on Rebel Flesh Almost People.
Yeah.
Honestly, just read all of her posts because she's a fantastic writer.
She is. She really is.
She's so good.
At Krista Wolf 94.
Yes. And Rainiac, you got anything to promote other than ourselves?
Unfortunately, not at this time. No. So.
Go.
I have something to promote.
Go ahead.
So I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but there's this fantastic little thing called Back to the 11th Hour by Krista McTee. You should totally buy it.
I knew you were going to do it. Good. Hey, Rainiac, you got anything to promote?
No. Apart from Back to the 11th Hour by Krista McTee, available on all good Kindle bookshops.
Oh, you gave us a swerve.
At some point, no, I'm not Vince Russo. At some point, you just have to go with it.
Go with the flow. Have you read the book yet, Rainiac?
I have read the posts.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I've read the entire book. It's fantastic. I am behind on reading the posts. I have to catch up with that.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
And you can find us at Reviews Doctor. You can write us an email at goatstimmingyourself@gmail.com. And you can find our individual Twitters are at FreezingInferno, at Rainiac, and at Concave Usurper. And all that remains then is to thank you for listening to us talk about, I forgot the name of the episode, The Creature from the Pit. There we go. I closed my notes and I forgot about the episode. It happens. No, it doesn't. Shut up.
I hate you all right now.
Yes. We were so close to...
I heard Jesse Cox was a furry. Nipples. Yes, exactly.
We were so close to going a whole podcast without that soundboard being used once.
I know.
We were so close to Venom.
I know.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
But you failed. Because I'm always going to make sure that it appears.
Good.
Join us next week when Captain Mysteriously disappears.
Also, just as a reminder, everybody, when you're practicing safe sex,
give your cock a cock ring. Yes. Good advice, me.
I love you've kept all of these.
I have so many. It was such an interesting stream.
It really was.
An interesting stream I did like half a year ago.
I will never die.
God, time flies when you're not having fun.
Time flies when you can literally do nothing because you're stuck at home.
Yeah, well, that's slowly coming to an end.
Say goodnight, Rainiac.
Good night,
It's
Rainiac.
okay. I'm already insane, so.
So, until the mind robber, bye for now.
Yeah, join us next time for the Mind Robber. Bye for now.
Yep. Bye, Rainiac.
Oh, am I the one leaving the show? Yes, I know I am. It was a good run while it lasted. Kids, let's go home. We are home. That was fast.